Hello and welcome to the DC Stewart Show Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Stewart, once again on a Monday. We had a great weekend of sports. Got a lot to talk about today, fam. I mean, it's a lot of good stuff that we're going to have in form of topics and, generalizations of what went on this weekend for sports, from basketball to football. And guess what, fam? Football is back. I mean, I'm a little bit biased and lean toward football because, football is my sport when I was growing up. With all due respect to the NBA and to basketball, basketball to me is the second. It falls a little bit behind football, but, my specialty is football along with Isaah's specialty, along with Najee's specialty of NBA. However, Najee knows all sports, so I'm not going to leave him out on all the sports. Fam, go ahead and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button because we're family and we treat you like family. We want you here. We want you to be with us to be able to share all of these stories. And we want you commenting in the comment section today too, because we're live stream on YouTube on a Monday morning after a beautiful weekend. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my peeps. I'm going to bring in my kinfolk because they actually my kinfolk. I can't go wrong without my kinfolk right here. Isaah, how the hell are you, buddy?
Man, I'm just feeling fabulous, man. I had a smoking weekend. Starting Friday, going down to the University of Miami. It was stormy and rainy, though, man. Visibility was poor. You could barely see. But guess what? That show improved my dedication to this program and to the 305 Nation as a whole. I got down there, hung out with Mario Cristobal, the head coach of the University of Miami. They're getting ready to play Notre Dame next week, and it's going to be a hot year for them, man. We got a lot of new folks that's going to be on that team, and we'll talk about that later on. But, man, after that, I enjoyed the Saturday, and then Sunday, we was down at the Big 3 to watch the 305 bring this thing home as well, man. Mario Chalmers and Beasley and Lance Steffens, boy, they stepped their game up, man, in Orlando. Boy, had a chance to meet Najee down there, too. We had a beautiful weekend, beautiful dinner afterwards, and then had to come on back home and get ready for this program. But listen, my weekend was outstanding. I loved it,
Awesome.
man. I didn't even want to go to sleep.
You didn't get no sleep this weekend?
Ooh, no, it was filled with pleasure. Man, the
Absolutely.
sports, man. They was having a good time. Yeah.
You can't go wrong
That's
with
how.
that. I tell you what, man, when you having a good time and things are going well, you can't ask for a better situation, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kinfolk Najee, tell us a little bit about what's going on with you. How was your weekend? How was that Big 3 event as well?
Oh, most of my weekend was just chilling, relaxing at the house, man. It was Sunday yesterday. Oh, the big three, that was phenomenal between the exhibition with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard killed it right before
Yeah.
the championship game with the Miami 305 and the triplets. We got a chance to see Dr. J, Nick Young.
Yeah.
We had Beasley, you had Lance Stevenson, you had Reggie Evans, you had quite a few players that's either just out the league, or been out the league that was there. It was. We had a lot of time, a lot of fun out there, and of course Mario Chalmers. Out of all people, they leave open on the court. The person that has won a championship in every level of basketball between high school, college,
He left the man wide
NBA,
open.
and you left him open for the three. Nah,
Wide open.
that
That's
was
crazy
very
to
poor
leave
judgment.
Mario Chalmers open for
Very
a
poor
three,
judgment.
right?
Very poor judgment, sir.
Yeah, I have to second to that. Basically, bottom line is it's nothing like going to a basketball game, but since the Big 3 is kind of new, and it's not new because it's been around for a little while, but to have three basketball players matched up one on one against each basketball player is just, to me, is phenomenal. Couldn't have come up with a better idea. I have to credit Ice Cube and his investment group who were involved in bringing this sport to light and bringing the sponsors and bringing it to TV,
Yeah.
because it cannot do
Packed,
anything but grow from this point on.
DC, it was packed, man. That thing was packed, bro. Listen, that arena was filled with folks, and not only that, it's a well thought out venue, man, because they had a lot of entertainment. They had a slam dunk guys there. They had dancers. They had everybody there, man. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will be right back, folks. Isaiah, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. We just had a little small difficulty right there with the volume, with the audio volume, but we want to definitely get that corrected. Anyway, let's pretty much tell you a little bit about my weekend. My weekend went down pretty well. I had a good weekend. It was extremely scorching here in Los Angeles. It was just crazy hot like yesterday. Yesterday wasn't hotter than Saturday, though. Saturday was just off the charts. 100-degree weather, generally about 91 to 95 degrees in Los Angeles. And then if you go out into the San Fernando Valley, you were talking about 100, 110 easily. Anywhere from that valley area on out to the eastern part of the county, it was extremely hot. So everybody was trying to stay cool, stay inside, and keep everything, under control with temperature, because you want to stay in an air-conditioned environment when you have that kind of heat. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. We have some very interesting Annie Brown topics. Annie Brown spent the whole weekend bringing everything front forward. We're on the information superhighway, so we're picking up all of the hottest particular topics with sports, from football or basketball to any other sport that we may, come across. I did meet a gentleman yesterday who was into rugby. He grew up in New Zealand, and he was an extremely talented individual when he played rugby when he was, basically in high school and out of high school. And I learned a lot about rugby yesterday, so we want to definitely cover that sport. New Zealand has one of the best teams, national teams in rugby, along with a lot of other countries. But they call them the Blacks, All Blacks, I believe. And I want to make sure that I get that term right, because they've been so dominant in the sport so long. It's a national pride, just like football and basketball are national prides here in the United States. So we'll be talking a little bit about NFL today. We're going to bring in some of the weekend scores. We're going down to cut down day tomorrow. I think that's the deadline for cut down. So we want to make sure we're cut down. I mean, we're going to cover what we can cover today on the players that already been cut to the players that we might think might get cut tomorrow. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to go back and revert back to Big 3, some of the highlights, some of the takeaways from Isaah and Najee's experience at this Big 3 event. This was their first experience, so they're going to bring it to you, the viewer. So we want to do that. And we're going to talk a little bit about Shedeur Sanders and his, situation on maybe staying with the Cleveland Browns or maybe moving on from the Cleveland Browns. It's kind of up in the air now, unless there's breaking news and something has already happened that I don't know anything about. So we'll be covering a little bit of that. We're going to cover NCAA football. Stanford ended up losing to Hawaii in Honolulu this weekend. It's kind of a big deal because Stanford's a Division I. Technically, Hawaii is a Mountain West Conference team. They play really hard when they're in Honolulu. Any team that come to Honolulu is probably going to be in for a dogfight, so we'll go a little bit over that. And we're going to go over Shawn Kemp, ex-NBA player Shawn Kemp. Looked like he was sentenced for shooting at someone over a dispute. So we're going to cover all of the variable details on that. Shawn Kemp was phenomenal. He was above the rim when he played. One of the best dunkers I ever seen dunk the ball. He played for the Seattle Supersonics when the Sonics moved to Oklahoma City. I want to say in between that window, he was no longer with the Sonics. So, or the Oklahoma City Thunder is the new team became when they moved to Oklahoma City.
Oh no, he wasn't because when Kevin Durant got drafted, he was still considered a Sonic, so he was already been out the league.
Exactly. Absolutely. So it was a whole new team when they got to Oklahoma City. Technically, James Harden, you had Kevin Durant, you had Russell Westbrook, you had Kendrick Perkins, Big Perk, as I call him, Big Dog Perk. So we'll cover a little bit of that, and we might go off into something a little on the side we're going to be talking about as well. So thank you once again for joining us. Where the party at? We want you, the viewer, to tell us where the party at.
Party is right here, baby. It was here last week, the week before that. It's going to be here next year. It's going to be here constantly.
Expeditiously, expeditiously.
Woo!
Expeditiously is the perfect word for the party. And we here to stay, folks. We here to stay. So let's hit home, and Annie Brown, let's hit home on this first topic, and let's start out with Big 3. I'm going to start with Najee first. How was your experience with Big 3? Tell us a little bit more about the mechanics and some of the rules of the game on how they play basketball so our viewers can get the full rundown on Big 3 basketball.
Well, like you know how when you foul somebody and then they have to go to the line, you get a point per free throw. Nah, you take one free throw and it's worth 2 points. And hit and miss one free throw. You miss that free throw, you don't get no points. You hit one free throw, you get both of them, unless it's an and one. If it's an and one situation, then the free throw's only worth 1 point. When you so of course out of any sport, you start off 0-0. Whatever team get the 25 first, boom, that's halftime. Halftime is a quick about 10, 15 minutes. After that, whoever gets to 50, and you have to win by 2 wins. Of course, you have a 4 pointer, you can get there quicker, but I mean the 4 point is not really utilized like that unless you're back against the wall and you're really trying to get the game out the way, because it wasn't really that many 4 pointers that was hit in the game. I think it was maybe two. But the physicality was even more than on the NBA. It was throwing me off a little because the plays you would normally see a foul in the NBA, they was not calling that. They was letting them actually play quite a bit. I actually enjoyed that part because I said, as I'm at the game, I'm like, that's a foul. Wait, that's not a foul. I said, oh, they letting them play. Okay, I'm not used to that no more. Let's go. This is actually a lot more exciting to see now. And Beasley is a beast, man. They really couldn't stop him from scoring. Anytime he got the ball in isolation, he was scoring at will. I'm talking about mid-range, in the paint. He was hitting all his free throws. I'm like, bro, he was automatic.
Well, it looks like to me Michael Beasley has found his complete niche. He's been a basketball player pretty much his entire career, a dominant basketball player even when he was with the Miami Heat and when he was with Kansas State. However, this is home for him. He's at home. I mean, technically, this is where he needed to be. This particular platform he's on, his brand to me has blown sky high in terms of his personal brand is concerned. And I'm pretty sure that the sponsors and the people who have these big sporting goods companies going to be looking forward to dealing with Michael Beasley because he is definitely talented enough to be able to carry their brand for him from Big 3 basketball. So Isaah, tell us a little bit about your takeaways from the game. What was the most vital moment of the game? I know that 3-point shot, I believe it was 3-point shot by Chalmers, right? Mario Chalmers that won the game for the Miami 305 team. Tell us a little bit about any turning points in the game.
Well, the turning point of the game is Chicago got some hell of a shooters, man. They were hitting the 4 points because, 305 went up about 10 points. And after that, they kind of like days ago playing nonchalantly and let those guys catch back up. And once they caught back up, then they just really had to buckle down. And then Beasley went into beast mode.
Beasley
That dude
beast mode,
just went
right?
into beast mode, man. He was on it, bro. I mean, his ball handling is impressive to me. He drives to the basket. He shoot outside range shots. I mean, clutch shots too, DC. And he rebound. He does everything. I just can't believe he's not still in the NBA because just he just got all his energy and he's got a lot of respect out of the players, man. He's actually the coach on the court.
Right,
Everybody
right.
like him. Everybody respects him, man. And you should see how many people were actually there at the game rooting for him. They was out for him. I mean, it was so much other stuff going on, but you could clearly see the crowd was his, man, because of course they had the All-Star game going on, and then they had this slam dunk group of guys who was just enormously talented. They were just jumping all around, doing tricks and everything, and it kept your mind entertained. It was a beautiful week for basketball, man. And I think Ice Cube, this situation is going to get huge because that arena was packed to the max. And folks had a really good time. I mean, it was never like a dull moment. They had entertainment during the halftime show. It was a beautiful situation, man. I mean, it really enjoyed it. The
Halftime
parking was
or timeouts,
good.
all that.
I mean, it
Yep.
was nice, DC. I mean, I just could see it growing huge.
So
Yeah.
it's entertainment. Let's say
Oh,
first
of
and
course it is.
foremost
It's straight
before
entertainment. The entire
straight
time you're there.
entertainment. 80-20, right? Would you say, Najee, 80-20 entertainment
Yes,
and then
sir.
basketball? Or somewhere close to
Yes.
that, maybe 70-30, would you say?
Yeah, they even had people that they even had outside the actual basketball arena part where you had little kids shooting outside. They had little practice jump shots, and if they
It's a
hit their shots, they
it's a
could either
very
win a
family
shirt or something.
friendly
They just had
atmosphere.
yeah, exactly. They had it was very family friendly situation. They had old school music. They had JT Money performing. Yeah,
Wow.
it was crazy, man.
Wow. I mean, they put together a total package with this
Yes,
particular thing.
it is a total package, without a doubt.
So let me ask you this, and either one of you guys can chime in on this. Was it the Chicago triplets not playing well enough, or was
Oh
it
no,
just the
they played
dominance
their
of
rear ends off,
Miami
DC.
305? They just overtook them
Oh no,
with
it was a
with
dogfight, man. It went
resistance.
down
Let
to
me
the bitter
say.
end.
Uh,
No, it
Now,
was a dogfight throughout the
when
whole
it first
game.
started, Miami 305, Beasley, he had the tempo the entire time. Then when they actually went up about 10, 12 points, I'm thinking, I was like, oh, this is going to be a blowout the way how they playing. Next thing you know, they switched the lineup a little bit, and then they kind of, just like any team, they got too comfortable. And then next thing you know, that's when the triplets started to hit some threes, and then they started to grab the tempo. Then when they went up 3, 4 points, I'm thinking, oh, they finna snatch this from Miami 305. Then next thing you know, Beasley went into his zone. He started creating everything. I'm talking about from playmaking to ISO basketball to everything. Like he told the shot that Chalmers hit, he was telling Chalmers to get out the way, and Chalmers is the captain of the freaking team.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked like he was going to go ISO and just take whoever that was guarding him. And next thing you know, they started to double team him. Next thing you know, Chalmers is wide open. As I saw it, I put my hand up for three already because I'm like, that's going to go in there. He's been in too many championships to miss that, to miss a wide open corner three. I already
Right.
knew it was as soon as Chalmers was wide open for the game winner. I did just like this because he's going to make it.
Exactly. So who was the best player for Chicago? Just give me an idea.
I think his name was Core. He's a little small. He appeared to be small on the court, but he was about 6'3", 6'4", because Beasley still had him in a little bit in height, but Beasley 6'9", so he had to be about 6'3", 6'4". But he had a deadly jump shot, man. He was hitting shots on Chalmers and Lance Stevenson. No pressure.
He was blocking a lot of shots too. He blocked a lot of
So
shots
they were
too.
playing defense as well. I mean, it wasn't all
Man,
about
Yeah, they
offense,
was
correct?
no. You
great,
have to
man.
play
It
defense.
was
You have
great
and
game.
you have to play defense on a 3-on-3. You have to play defense
Yeah,
because that means
you
somebody's gonna
can't
get a layup
slack
every
at
time.
all. You cannot even
There's
rest,
no
man.
slacking.
You got
You
to
cannot leave
constantly
somebody
move.
open,
Yeah, because if you do, you're going to pay
especially if you
for
talk
it.
about playing in three point.
If
If
you're
you
not
playing behind the
constantly
3 point,
moving, somebody's gonna
somebody's
score
gonna
on you
score.
because they're gonna dish the ball to the guy that you're supposed to be sticking if you're not holding the guy accountable. If you're not sticking with that guy, they're gonna dish the ball. So you cannot be resting. If you feel like you're too tired, you can't chase a guy around, you got to go sit down and bring somebody fresh in.
Sit down
Otherwise, they're
exactly
gonna
because
score on you.
it's too much spacing. It's too much spacing for you
There's
to
too
sit
much
down.
movement
Or for the
going on.
chill.
It's constant
It's
movement.
too much.
And you don't see any fat guys on neither team, man. You don't see no chunky guys out there because it's a constant. In the NBA, you might get some guys who kind of heavy where they, slack up when there's a going back and forth to defend. But here, you got to constantly defend. You on offense and defense constantly, so you don't have a moment to rest. If you want to rest, you got to get out the game. Otherwise, you're gonna your guy score. Yep.
Right. So looking at this, it looks like Beasley finished with 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Very well balanced stats, in my
He had
opinion.
half their points.
Yep.
He had
He had
half their points. Just put it that way.
exactly.
Half the points.
He's been doing that all year long, though. He's been doing that all year long. I've been watching him all
If
year,
I'm not mistaken,
and this is
he's the
the type
leading
of
scorer of the
productivity you've been
league.
getting from him from the
I
305
think
team.
he is too with
You've been getting that
162
same type
points,
of
Yeah.
I believe,
numbers.
total
Yep.
lead scoring in the league. I
Yeah.
was just looking at Big 3 on
Yep.
their website, and it looks as though that he is the lead scorer for the league from what I just saw. But
I'm
the
gonna tell
top
you,
performers,
DC, he's the face of this whole league. He's the Michael Jordan of this league, man. A lot of people love him. The passion that he brings to the game, and when he's on the floor, he's like a coach. He's always in each player's ear, running plays, making sure they're in the right place when he dished the ball off to them. And I'm telling you what, right now, and if he get ready to throw them the ball and they're not ready for it, he's in their ear, man. He's in their face telling them, man, you better be ready. He's doing that the whole game. Cooper don't have to do any coaching because he's got
he's
Beasley
got a
on the
coach
court
on the
doing it for
court.
him.
He's got a floor general,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
Yep.
So
Impressive stuff, man.
absolutely. So where do you see this league going? I mean, either one of you
I
guys
see
can
it
chime in on
blossom.
that.
I think it's going to blossom, DC, because whenever you have a team like both, and there's a lot of Chicago fans there now. It's just because it was 305 and it was in South Florida, where you should think all the fan base will be here. There's a lot of people traveled from Chicago to watch their team play, and I can see it getting bigger because, first of all, you have iHeartRadio that's a part of their sponsorship, and then it was on national television yesterday as well. So it was a lot of viewership. I mean, it had a lot of folks focusing in on it. And plus, the family friendly thing is going to always bring people there. I mean, they're not doing any heinous stuff
Yeah.
where kids can't see it. Everybody conduct themselves like adults. It wasn't smoking and getting high and all that stuff. Nah, it was a really beautiful atmosphere. They had a lot of sales going on with memorabilia. I mean, the guys hung around for a long time to talk to him. They had a beautiful meet and greet with the coaches and the staff, and Ice Cube came out there several times and spoke to the folks, and it was nice, man. And I can only see stuff like this when it's that family friendly and adult friendly for the grown and sexy as well. It's going to continue to grow because it's that thing where everybody can indulge in this. So it's going to continue to grow without a doubt. Yeah.
I have to second to that because looking here, it looks like they reached right a little bit over 1 million viewers on TV. So
See?
that's pretty impressive. For the playoff system that they have, the the layout of their playoff on up to the championship game. They had it in a perfect environment of being in Miami. I'm pretty sure they're going to move it around, if I'm not mistaken. Am I mistaken by that, or are they just going to have it in Miami every year?
No, it was in Orlando.
It was in Orlando. Okay,
Orlando.
so it was in Orlando,
Yeah.
Florida. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting me on that.
But
I'm pretty sure they're gonna build more teams. There's gonna be more teams in the league. There's gonna be more teams. So that's gonna. So when you have more teams, it's gonna expand more. Because what I did not know that other sports things were was like they was bringing them up, like Bleacher Report was showing it. I said, BR is showing the shot. I didn't know that all the other sports places was going to freaking advertise it at all. And then I started to see the shot by him by Beasley MVP. I said, oh yeah, by all these other places sponsoring it and advertising, that's just going to show it more and more. Because Beasley already making it his right now. Me personally, I think Beasley's name is hotter now than it was when he was in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure.
Najee.
No doubt about that.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Beasley's name was a notable name when he was in the NBA during his, peak years of playing in Miami. From what I remember, he was a legit player. But now he is the star. He is the one that draw all of the people to. He galvanized, tens of thousands of people to come to the league and pay attention to how they're playing basketball. And that's really critical. And at some point in time, I mean, he's going to be well compensated for, whether it's from the sponsorship end of it or whether it's from how they get paid in the league. I don't know how their structure, their pay structure is. But I could see players like Michael Beasley making money just off of, sponsorships, not just necessarily having to rely on a contract.
You got to remember this. Just think about this. Howard was there. He played for Orlando Magic for numerous years. Beasley was more popular than him. Howard.
And Beasley had way more. He has way more accolades than Beasley. Howard has way more. He has defensive player of the year. He has blocks. He has rebounds, the most rebounds and blocks. He has a championship in 2020 with the Lakers. He has multiple accolades. Multiple.
Yeah.
And he played longer.
Much longer than Beasley did. Yeah. But Beasley, he had a very good college career as well, because I watched him play in college, and he was pretty dominant when he was in college. So, that was a good draft on Miami's part to be able to draft him and move forward. He went through the transgressions of his career and the transgressions through his life. And he's reached that pinnacle in his life right now. And, we would love to have Michael Beasley on this show. So, Michael Beasley, whenever you want to come on here, just reach out to us, bro, because I like to ask you a little bit about all the way back to your high school days. So, when you started playing. Yeah. So, anyway, let's get to this next topic. And this next topic is we're going to move over to NFL because Annie Brown, we're going to go back and forth today. Going to talk a little bit about Shilo Sanders. Shilo Sanders is the son of Deion Sanders, Coach Prime for the University of Colorado. Shilo was a very dominant player in high school on into college, where he went to Jackson State with his father. Once Coach Prime went to Jackson State and started coaching at Jackson State, he took Shilo and his other son Shedeur with him to Jackson State. And then once he got hired on at Colorado, he took both of his sons with him to Colorado, which they were his Louis Vuittons. That's how he termed it back then when he was bringing them along with him. Shilo Sanders is a very talented player. He's a little bit undersized in terms of if you try to put in size for players in the league. However, he makes up and he compensates for his size difference by his tenacity of his play. He's a very tenacious player. He hits hard. He brings a load when he brings a load to hit someone, or when he his IQ is there too, because if you look at how he's played when he was at Colorado and how he was able to read and decipher and break down offenses on what the quarterback was going to do, which play was going to be run, how he reacted to the ball, he was completely dominant in those areas. However, Shilo did not get drafted in the NFL, and that's questionable as well. We have a lot of people who were on social media asking questions about that. But it looks like Shilo got cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few days ago. And I'm wondering, and I need to get Isaiah's take on this because...
Nah, that happened yesterday.
Or it happened yesterday. Because the cut down day, the deadline is tomorrow, which is Tuesday. But they're cutting people now because they're just trying to get ahead of the deadline.
Off your list now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with you, Isaiah, and ask you, on that cut, do you think that cut was preemanated from that punch he threw, or was he going to make the team before that punch? That's an easier question to ask you.
Well, it shouldn't. It surely didn't help him, DC. It surely didn't help at all, because one thing about it, Todd Bowles don't tolerate penalties, senseless penalties.
True.
I thought that he shouldn't have been ejected out of the game, because I watched it play from several angles many times, and the tight end was just driving him backwards and shoving him. And only thing he did at the end, got caught with the last swing, so to speak, and they called a penalty on him. But if you would have watched the entire play from each angle, that tight end didn't let off of him. He was just shoving him backwards, just pushing him, and Shilo just took his hand to try to swipe down, and it looked like a punch. So 15-yard penalty, fine. But the eject him out of the game, I think that was a tad much, man. And of course, once it happens and you get penalized for it, and then the consequences come behind that part of it with the staff, with your coaches, and the rest of it, because you cost the team. So if he would have not thrown that blow at him, and of course it would have just been an offset play where neither one of them got called for it, because they didn't call it on the tight end. They called it on him for that.
They're never going to call it on the first person that's initiated. Usually they always catch the second person.
It was a total mob. He was mobbing Shilo, man. He was pushing him backwards. He was already freaking twice his size, and then he was pushing him backwards, and he just felt that was the only thing to do to stop him. But, he wasn't drafted, so, he was already,
on the bubble, right? He could have went either way, correct?
So now, from what I see and what I read last night, he's not gone all together, because they're going to put him on a practice team. From what I understand, the practice team will have him on Wednesday. He'll sign with the practice squad. He'll make around $13,000 a week, and then it can go as much as $25,000, $30,000 a week to be on the practice squad. So you never know. Someone can get hurt, and then he'll be back in there, because if they're going to have you on the team, not, active playing, they still kind of like you, because they could have clipped him and just got rid of him altogether. So from what I read last night, he'll be on the practice squad. So he should be fine, man. And that's still just evaluating your attitude and your play in the whole 9 yards, because I don't think they just really want to get rid of him. They might be shaving that number down to get to the amount of players they need to be active, and they'll bring them in later. Because that's the way I see it now, reading the articles that I read last night.
Yeah, I was just looking at an article real quick here, and it says his hopes is still alive when it comes to either getting signed to the team's practice squad, because I don't think it's a done deal yet, or he could catch on with another team. He'll be on another team. He's going to get another opportunity.
Else, yeah.
He's going to get another opportunity, and what he has to do is as many times in life as we all get knocked down, we have to get back up, and we have to get back up and shake it off and dust ourselves off, and we have to move forward and don't make the same mistake twice. Najee, I'm going to have you chime in on this. Do you think Shilo Sanders was actually a penalty was thrown on him, which I find to be fine? I'm like Isaiah with that. The penalty would have been fine, 15-yard penalty, although that would have still been, a issue with the coaching staff, because they always teach you do not create penalties because it costs the team yards and it costs the team field position in certain scenarios. Do you think it was fair that he got ejected from the game for throwing that punch?
Well, Isaiah already kind of covered much what I was going to say, but yeah, by him getting ejected for that, they probably already didn't want him in the game, man. When you talking about refs wise, but seeing him getting cut from the team, I'm really not surprised at all, because he was already an undrafted player, and you showing yourself. Even though as a man he stood his ground and be like, you're not going to push me. I'm a grown man too. You're going to respect me. But when you already undrafted, you're already skating on thin ice. You need to kind of try to keep your composure as a young man. So that's why when they cut him, I was like, man, I really didn't want that for him, because at least he wasn't part of the Dolphins or the Ravens, because I wanted to see him play. But at least he's in Florida, so that I definitely had an opportunity to see him play whenever he plays a team that anytime he plays a game that I'm available to go see. But now we got to see who team's going to pick him up. It's a garbage defensive NFL teams in the league, so I'm pretty sure they'll pick him up as long as he remain humble and just continue to work on his craft every day, man.
Absolutely. And, like you say, everything is discipline. And football is a controlled, violent sport. And let me repeat that. Football is controlled violence, where they don't press charges against you when you do something to somebody on the field. You literally have the go-ahead to take someone out, in a sense where, a penalty could be thrown. But when it comes to that type of tangle and that tie-up that he had with that tight end, I would have highly recommended that he broke himself away and he just took it another play to get that tight end out of the game if he wanted to do that, because you always have another opportunity on the next play. But if you get tossed, you don't have another opportunity. Mm-hmm. So in a sense that it's controlled violence, you take it to the next play. I mean, that's the way I think about it. Look, I got you on my list for the next play. I'm going to take care of you on the next play if I can get to you. Or if the ball comes to you, I'm going to be bringing the noise to get you for what you did to me in that earlier play. That's how I look at it. Now, I don't believe
especially when you're a defensive player too, DC.
Huh?
Especially when you're a defensive player.
Especially when you're a defensive player. Yeah. I don't condone, let me just repeat, I don't condone get back, if that's what you want to call it. That's what we called it growing up, get back. I'm going to get you back for doing what you did to me. But in the old throwback days of football, like the Ronnie Lotts of the world and the Steve Atwaters of the world and the Lewis Oliver, I'm going to bring Lewis Oliver in because he was one of my favorite safeties when he played at Florida and when he played at Miami. These guys, you may thought you got the best of them on that particular play, but God forbid you ended up getting a ball or you had to block again, because they were just going to bring some noise to you, and you were going to know that what you did earlier wasn't going to be passed by. They weren't going to let that go, in other words. Now, back in the 80s, it pretty much anything goes. Lyle Alzado used to snatch helmets off guys' heads and throw it at them and didn't get kicked out of the game. I mean, I can go on and on about the different generations of football players that we're dealing with now, but the NFL just does not tolerate fighting. They don't tolerate throwing punches. So you have to work your way around those type of things and make sure that you are playing within the rules of the game at that time whenever the play comes around. Because if you're a defender and you're tight end, the tight end, he has to block again, or it could be a play or a pass coming to him. So you got to keep that in mind. I would just say for Shilo Sanders, wherever he ends up, whether he ends up on the Bucks practice squad or whether he ends up somewhere else in the league, go into camp, practice hard, play hard. Go into camp, practice hard, play hard, because it's a legacy behind you getting the attention that you get from the media. The media is playing through your father through to you. So you got to understand that. You got to separate yourself from that. You're in the NFL now. Coach Prime is no longer with you. So you gotta fend for yourself, in other words.
Yeah. DC, that almost remind me of the Andre Rising and Prime little scuffle out there. Remember when they was going blow for blow? Neither one of those got thrown out the game either.
I
They
remember
didn't throw
that.
those guys out the game. They
I
just let
remember
them
that.
freaking go, huddle up and go for the next play. It was
Absolutely.
nothing like this. This was like kids play compared to the Prime and Andre Rising fight. They were going at it, man. They were throwing blow for blow. But then here it is, one blow and you get tossed out the game without being penalized. You just get tossed out the game.
Well,
And it was like, I couldn't believe it. Just throw them
the
out the game
camera
for that
panned
one
on
move.
them too individually, so it was like the whole world was watching him throw the punch, and the whole stadium probably got a chance to see him throw the punch, even though what happened before the punch should have been, because if it was me and I was an official, I would have punished both of them with a 15-yard penalty. I mean, they both would have been warned. Not to do that again. But each official is subjective. They have their own opinion. They have their own way of how they perceive things and how things look. So if it doesn't look good in perception to that official, they'll throw the flag or they will eject a player based on that. Because even in today's NFL, I've seen plays where players have thrown punches and they don't get kicked out. So that speaks volumes right there.
But, some of that can be a strategy from other teams when they know you got a hot head.
Absolutely.
And you don't know how to conduct harness your temper.
Exactly.
They would send someone at you to do something like that to you to get you ejected out of the game or get you penalized. So you have to be aware of that type of strategy because it's coming your way if you
Draymond Green
have that, history of having a hard head and don't know how to harness your emotions out there. So they're going to send somebody at you. What he has to do from here on is always remember, if you get hit like that, turn into a damn snitch. Go over there and tell the ref he's pushing me.
Exactly. Just throw your hands up like this. Look,
because
man.
That way
did you just see what he just? Did you just see what he just did to me?
Yeah.
He literally mugged me. And are you gonna stand there and let him mug me like that? That's how you have to play those kind of games.
Yeah.
We
need to send him some film on LeBron. LeBron is an expert at that.
Oh, LeBron. Magic was good at it too now. Magic was real good at it. Magic will flop in a heartbeat back in the day.
He'll make things worse than what they really are. Everything, man.
Yeah.
He will fall down.
He's saying overselling
would have fell down. If you hit him like that, he would have fell down.
Yep.
If Shedeur would have just fell down and say, this guy mugged me and show the ref, man, he knocked me down. See, LeBron was an expert at that. You fool around and put your pinky finger on him, he going down. And when he pops back up like Jack in the Box, he's going straight to the ref to snitch on you.
That's right. I don't personally think that the team sent this player at him. I think this player took it upon himself to get physical with Shilo, because Shilo was undersized. Yeah. Shilo was a lot smaller than him. So I'm pretty sure in the guy's mind, he was thinking that, technically I'm gonna just go rough him up and let him know that he's in the NFL. That's kind of how I thought that one went down.
That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying to you, each team will have a strategy to do any player like that when they know they can't harness their emotions. That's going to be part of their strategy. I've seen it even when I was playing. When they find out that you don't know how to harness your emotions, they're going to either send a scrub, even who don't even start, at you to get you out, thrown out the game. They will late hit you after a play. They will do something to antagonize you to get in your head and get you either to have a penalty thrown on you or get you ejected out of the game. And that's without a doubt.
Okay, so it looks as though this player from Buffalo is Zach Davidson. He plays tight end for Buffalo, and I pulled a little bit of information up. He played college football at Central Missouri. He went to the Minnesota Vikings in 2021, so he's been in the league a little while. And he plays tight end. He's 6'7", according to these stats. He's 6'7", 251 pounds, and Shilo is probably 5'9", 5'10", 195 pounds at the heaviest, right? I mean, or something close to that. I give him 200 pounds, but you don't measure up against a 6'7", 251 pound player when it comes to physicality. I mean, unless you have a strategy that you can get to him before he get to you, and you can try to deal with that. That's the way I look at that. So he just needs to keep a better composure in his future, or otherwise he's not going to be in the NFL. That's just the way it's going to be for Shilo Sanders. Do you agree?
Of course I do.
Absolutely.
That's the point I was making. He's just got to understand it's going to happen to him. And if any team watch this thing this time, they're going to do the same stuff. They're going to do the same thing to him. So he's just got to be aware of that. It ain't hard to recognize it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Andy Brown, let's move on to the next topic. And the next topic is going to get a little spicy here, kinfolk, because I'm going to tell you that we're going to talk about Shilo's brother, Shedeur. And Shedeur Sanders, he did not have a favorable game in this last preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, we're going to start this thing off because we talked about in the past about Shedeur tends to hold on to the ball a lot longer than he should. He did it in college. I didn't see him do it at the pro level because I didn't even watch Cleveland's preseason games this year, so I couldn't tell you. However, he took sacks and he was not getting rid of the ball quick enough, which made me think that he has a 1-2-3 progression. He's supposed to get that ball out. I mean, there is no explanation, especially if there's a rush, the type of rush that the Rams were bringing. He has to get that ball out, whether he throw a check down, whether he get outside of the quarterback's box and he throw an incomplete pass. You cannot hold on to that ball for X amount of time at the NFL level. They're a lot faster. They're a lot quicker. They're going to get in there and they're going to have you on the ground. So I'm going to start with you, Isaah. Do you think it's fair that Shedeur wasn't able to come back in and finish out a drive because, you know, Kevin Stefanski decided to go ahead and have Snoop Hundley come in, I believe, and finish that drive out? What do you think the scenarios were with Shedeur taking those sacks and not having a great game?
I watched this play. Only one of those plays that he held the ball, a tad too long. But the rest of them, you remember, Shedeur plays off instinct, man. He's a sharp guy. He put the ball right on the money 95% of the time. And he's elusive. And when you got that type of mobility as a quarterback, you're going to use it to your advantage. And that's what he's doing. So, very seldom that I can just say, damn, man, he should have got rid of that ball, because he's playing off instinct, because he know his ability. And if you got good linemen and receivers who understand that, he's going to be a deadly quarterback in the future. because he knows where the guys are. He knows where to place the ball because he don't throw that many interceptions, DC.
I
Just
agree
look
with
at it
that.
because he
Yes.
knows how to quarterback. So I would just leave him the hell alone and let him play. All the rest of that stuff he's going to learn as a professional. The speed, he's going to get accustomed to the speed because it's not like in college. But I won't be trying to play with his mind because he's a good freaking quarterback. And every play at all levels now. Seen him play at Jackson State, where is the Division I school. Then when he go to Colorado, he played the best of the best, and he shined with the best. So now he's in a professional level. He's doing great. He's a rookie. He's got to learn. All of these guys got to learn. So I just think people need to just lay off of him and let the guy learn. And he's going to get experience. He's going to be okay. But leave him the hell alone. Stay out his ear and try to quit playing with his mind because the guy is going to do well in the NFL.
I've said that all along. I say he's a prototype pro quarterback. He's going to be extremely effective moving forward as he learns, as he goes along. He just needs to find a team that's going to allow him to give him that latitude to learn at the pace that he needs to learn the pro game at, because the pro game is a little bit different than college in terms of speed. Some of the strategies that they use at the pro level is a little bit different. So he needs a coach and a coaching staff that's going to give him time to develop into the quarterback that we know he is. I mean, we already know he's that type of quarterback. I mean, without a doubt. I just think with the way the media has covered the Cleveland Browns since he got drafted in the 5th round, it's been somewhat of a media circus because he's Coach Prime's son, that all of the attention has been going directly to him on the team. And that rubs a lot of other people the wrong way, whether most people think about that or not. Even some of the players, I mean, they start thinking, look, man, he's getting more press and he's bigger than us. Or the coaching staff can start thinking like that. Look, because I think Stefanski's in a bad spot.
Rookie.
Yeah. I think Stefanski is in a bad spot. And I'll say that in defense of Kevin Stefanski because he's a damn good coach. I think he deserves a little bit more credit than what he's getting with this whole thing with Shedeur Sanders. Although I think he's made some bad decisions, but those decisions might be coming straight from Jimmy Haslam, from the top. I mean, you don't know within these organizations who's pulling the triggers and who's pushing buttons to say, look, we don't need this guy here because he's getting too much attention and he's bringing attention that we don't even want to deal with from the media, about Shedeur. And that's a sad state of affairs because I think he deserves the attention that he's getting and he's talented enough to garner that attention. So Najee, tell me, do you think he's going to get cut tomorrow?
No.
Or if he's already been cut, I haven't heard anything on it, but do you think he's going to get cut? Because from what I picked up from the general manager is I think they're going to roll with 4 quarterbacks, but you tell me, Najee.
That's what they're going to do.
Well, I saw late last night by Yahoo Sports that they plan on keeping all 4 of their quarterbacks.
Okay.
So I don't know if they saying that just to, calm the media down, or they just trying to clean their faces with the whole situation. But the reason why I probably thought they didn't keep him in there since he's already playing bad. You got 3 other quarterbacks, so why not utilize other? He's already, by what you said about from the last segment we had on the depth chart, he's what, the 4th quarterback,
the 4th
right?
on the depth chart. Yes,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So why not just play the other players already? Because he's already playing bad. So why not try to get the other better quarterbacks from their depth chart some reps? Because he's already playing poorly. So let's put the other guys in and get some reps.
So let me just follow up on this question to you, because there's a lot of chatter on social media that Stefanski wanted to make Dylan Gabriel look better. Do you believe that?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Why would you? Why? Because I mean, you gonna get heat from that anyway. You don't. They don't. That team don't want any other necessary heat that they don't need to have. They already have enough focus on them. Because no, honestly, I don't think nobody's rooting for that guy anyway. So why would you root against what everybody wants?
I see. So Isaiah, tell me
Tyler
this.
Huntley was cut
And Snoop
yesterday.
Huntley was cut. Tyler
Yeah.
Huntley was cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
So that
cut
was
yesterday.
that was the
So they
fifth
had
quarterback.
five
I mean, they
quarterbacks
technically
instead
had
of four.
5 quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, but I didn't see Huntley on the
that's
depth
right.
chart.
I feel it.
I didn't see Huntley even play. I didn't even know
I didn't
he was
even
on
know
the
he was
team,
on
man.
Cleveland, to tell you the truth.
I actually thought he was still
Maybe
with
they
the
had him on.
Dolphins, man.
I did too.
Maybe they had him on injury reserve. Then maybe they had him on injury reserve, and we didn't see it.
That could be. But how about Deshaun Watson? He's not even in the conversation.
Yeah, 'cause I
He's
told you,
nursing his
Achilles
injury
early
and
this
getting
year.
better.
He re-injured
I mean,
his
damn, I forgot
Achilles
about
in
him, man.
January, so they're not
He's
going
the
to put
one
him on
making
there.
all the money, and
He's
you don't even hear
basically going
anything
to be
about him.
out for the season.
Well, he's good as
Wow, I
gone.
forgot all
I
about
see.
him.
In my opinion, I think he's good as out of there at some point in time. Whenever they feel like they can release him at some point, because you can't.
I don't
It's
see
not
why they're
formidable
going
to
to do
release
that.
a player while
He
he's
got
injured.
guaranteed money, DC.
But that's guaranteed money, of course. He's got his money. He's going to get his money. It's just that I just feel like when Cleveland can break away, they're going to break away, because I don't think you could break away while a player is going through injury and rehab. It's just not. It doesn't make sense to do that. You know.
Well, he's got guaranteed money whether they want to break.
I don't
from
think
him or
he's
not,
worried
and
about it.
that's
I really
a
don't think
big
he's
deal.
worried about it. And on top of that, Deshaun Watson still will have an opportunity to play someplace else, I think. At some point, if he could heal that Achilles up,
Nobody else will touch him.
That's
now.
if he still want to play.
if he still
Nobody
wants
is
to
not
play.
going to touch
Still
him,
wanna
man.
play.
When they don't have to buy his own contract out, DC. Nobody
That's
ain't
true.
gonna
I don't know
grab
what
that
his contract entailed, how many
Yeah.
years was on his contract. I have
It
to
was
look that up.
$100 and something million, and he haven't fulfilled any portion of that. Man, they ain't going. Nobody's not going to touch him.
And you tear that same Achilles twice too. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
DC, nobody's touching him
That's
after this
crazy.
contract, man. Because you
He
just
might be
look at
done.
him.
So he
Ever since
signed
he
a
came to the Browns,
$230 million contract, all guaranteed for 5 years, and that was in 2022.
man, he took a belt to their ass.
So he's got about if you look at 2022, he's got another couple of
Man,
years on the contract.
he gave them a good
I
whooping,
need.
bro.
Hey,
Wow.
I need whoever his agent is. I need him.
Isn't that the truth?
That guy beat them with a stick, a belt, and a mop handle. Wow. Damn, man.
Well, one thing is for
Yeah.
sure, Cleveland has got Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback. Joe Flacco has got all the intangibles to be successful, only he's 40 years old. He can't move as fast as he used to. But I think he's going to be effective enough for these younger quarterbacks to learn under him, especially if he could stay healthy, that they can watch him and they can kind of pick up from what he's doing and kind of develop themselves along the way. Because at some point in time, Cleveland's going to part company with a couple of these quarterbacks. It's just for now, they're going to stick
Somebody
with
got to
them.
be their future.
But somebody got to be their future, and Kenny Pickett's name hadn't surfaced at all about starting, which makes me wonder about his future with Cleveland, because Kenny Pickett was drafted by the Steelers.
It's amazing that you say that, DC. We're talking about his future, but he's sitting at number 2 on the depth chart. He's sitting at number 2.
True.
That doesn't sound right, do it?
Well,
You're talking about parting ways with a
at
guy
all.
who's sitting on your depth. I mean, the number 2 on your depth chart. My whole situation that they got going on.
My whole thinking of logic on Kevin Stefanski's part is Kenny Pickett has been in the league for quite some time, and he's a veteran. He's got experience.
It's just seniority at this point.
It's seniority. We used to call it seniority back in when I was working. But it's
Yeah.
based on experience, on who can be the next man up to put in there if Flacco can't go. And Kenny Pickett would be the most logical and sensible one to stick in there to give to be able to take the team, because they want someone in there to give them the best chance to win. And I think that's how they look at it. I think that's how they shape that up like that. You know. We'll be covering Shedeur because I think Shedeur once again is going to get the opportunity, just like his brother Shilo. They're young, and they got to get the experience together under them, and they got to somewhat try to steer the media clear of their father and the influence their father had on them when they were children growing up, coming through high school, coming through college to the pro ranks. And then they just separate beyond that and they keep going and they keep growing in the NFL. That's the way I'm looking at it from that perspective. It's a positive. If you don't want me to call it, I think it's a positive on both parts of those guys' situations. So, okay, Andy Brown got another one for us. Let's talk a little bit about NFL player Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons wants a new contract. He feels like he should get a max deal from Jerry Jones for the Cowboys. But you know what? Jerry Jones always plays hardball, especially with players he likes playing hardball with. It's only a handful of players ever to come through Dallas.
Every time he give them money, they don't play good after that, bro.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's flowed through Jerry's mind.
At all no more.
I think that floats through Jerry's mind that as soon as I pay these guys, they become ineffective. Does that make sense? So, Najee, since you chimed first on it, you could look back as an example on Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, Zeke. He didn't perform as well as he performed before he got that contract. Dak Prescott is another one. So tell me what you think is going through the mind of Jerry Jones with Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons is one of the most dominant edge rushers that I've seen. He's a defender. He's not an offensive player. So kind of break it down. What's the difference in Jerry's thinking that if I get this guy this max deal, he won't rush the quarterback anymore? I mean, I think he'll probably be more effective.
Other guys is offensive players, and they get hit every damn down. That's the difference.
Right.
And Dak don't get hit. He got the best line in the league. Dak don't get hit.
One thing I think, when he gave Emmett his money, Emmett was productive for him, man. He fought Emmett tooth and nail as well. And
he fought Troy Aikman as well, too.
He went on to
he didn't want to get Troy Aikman his money up front.
NFL, and he's a Hall of Famer. So it's just a chess match, man. And it's a Russian roulette game when you paying these players, man. But I think Parsons is going to do well for him. He's a defensive player. The guy is just a stud. And he need to pay him and go in there and tell this guy to let's try to win a Super Bowl, because he's got so many negative things surrounding him as a GM, and now he don't want to pay his best player. I understand business when you got to fight a guy for leverage, but here's a guy who surely well you need, and he's produced for you. Now it's time to reward him for that production. You fighting him. And hopefully that thing don't get to the point where he's remorseful about it. He's got to go in there.
You're talking about Jerry being remorseful? Or did you just say Jerry would be remorseful?
Huh?
Did you just say Jerry Jones would be remorseful?
I said, if Jerry don't pay this guy, or either the guy finally get paid and he's pissed with Jerry for doing him like that. That's what I'm saying to you, because some of them can be like that. They would hold that. If you take a guy through all these obstacles to get your money, and then when he finally give it to you, you almost thumb your nose at him like, "Oh, screw you," That's what I don't want to happen in this situation. Sit the man down and say, listen, man, I got snake bit before I gave these guys this money and they didn't produce. I'm going to give you this money, man. Go out there and do your thing. And try to build that friendly work atmosphere back into these players, man, because you don't think these guys are pissed when it's time to get paid and I gave you all that high volume production and now you're supposed to reward me for it and now you turn your back and tuck tail or run the other way because you don't want to give me my money and see other players are getting a truckload of money running. Like, for instance, we just got through talking about guaranteed money by the Cleveland Browns.
For Deshaun Watson.
Guaranteed money.
All guaranteed.
And here's a guy
which is an outlier.
Haven't stepped back on the field. And now Jerry got a high guy who's giving him this high volume of productivity, and you won't pay him? It don't look good,
well,
DC.
Jerry, first of all, Jerry is never going to be remorseful on anything because I have never seen him show any remorse.
I heard him say that,
Zero remorse. Whether Michael Parsons vacates the team or whether he stays, there ain't going to be no remorse from Jerry Jones. That's the way I see it from my perspective.
That man, like in his 80s, he's not going to change, bro.
Exactly. He's not going to change. Now, Jerry needs to feel like he won the challenge. If he challenges you and he's bargaining back and forth with you, he's going to position himself so he could say, look, I got what I wanted out of it. You didn't get what you wanted. I got what I wanted. That's how Jerry Jones operates.
DC, if Jerry don't pay this guy and he let him leave and every down Prescott be on his damn ass, he'll wish he paid him. You let him go to another team.
Well, it would be great if he could go to the Washington Commanders or the Philadelphia Eagles, right? They're in the same division.
That's exactly
He'd
what
get
I'm
a chance
saying.
to play him twice a year.
Remorseful, and every time Prescott cocked the ball like this, Parsons put that helmet in his back. You think he won't be remorseful then?
Absolutely.
You're out of your mind.
So here's the issue and the matter at hand. It looks like Micah Parsons attended that preseason game. He was on the sideline. And he was on one of the tables where they treat players, whether you want to call it a massage table, whatever you want to call it. It looked as though, according to the way the cameras were panning on him, did he dozed off. Now, I don't know whether he dozed off because I didn't see directly in his eyes. Now, I guess the perception of the media is looking at it like the man was sleeping on the job when he was supposed to have been there standing up. Or he was supposed to been at attention. He didn't have a jersey on. He didn't seem like he was too enthused to be a part of it. So if that's the case, he's telling Jerry, look, love me or leave me. You going to love me or leave me. You going to give me my bag or I'm going to do things to let you know that I'm not very interested as well. Do you think that,
You know
Najee?
how much BS that is, DC? You freaking... You know what? How much BS that is?
What's BS?
Because the man is not playing. He's not suited up. Don't you know how many times that I paid my hard-earned money and went to the damn movies and fell asleep in there? You know how many times I fell asleep in church?
Now, that's an embarrassing thing to say that you fell asleep in church. Shame on you. Shame on you. Talking about you fell asleep in church.
You don't know what that man did last night. He's trying to be in shape. He's probably worked his behind on lifting weights. You don't think he's fatigued? If you don't get a person undivided attention when it's a constant, if you ain't dropped no coladas or no coffee con leche, you might be sleeping and doze off to sleep.
Let me ask you a question, Isaiah. Can I ask you a logical, sensible question?
Go right ahead.
Would you take the risk of being caught sleep on your job if you had a job? I'm talking about a regular Joe's job. Will it be okay for your coworkers or your manager to catch you somewhere sitting in a corner or laying in a corner sleep on the job?
No, I would not do that.
Thank you. You just answered my question.
I would not.
If it's fact that Michael Parsons did close his eyes and was laying there taking it easy, that don't look good. That's all I'm going to say about that. right now.
DC.
Because
That's shameful.
what
Shameful,
from DC, what
DC
you're
man.
saying is
If
that
you
you're
guys gonna
not scared of
nitpick
your
this
job
guy like
security.
that, there
Yeah, you're not afraid.
for
Najee,
something
you
like that.
button it. You spot on, Najee.
Yeah.
You not afraid for him to cut me loose. Love me or leave me. That's how Michael Parsons is looking at it. He is saying to Jerry Jones, look, man, I ain't interested in participation right now. You give me my bag and then I'll be more than interested in participating. I'll go out there and get the quarterback on the ground for you on that opposing team. But until then, if I can't get my bag, just release me. Don't keep holding me here. Just release me. Does that make sense?
Stop contradicting yourself,
Mm-hmm.
man.
How did I contradict myself?
You just said love me or leave me because the man took he was probably praying. He was like, man, please let the man give me my bag. That's all he was doing. He was praying for his bag.
Now you beginning to make stuff up. To me, it sounds like.
No, I'm just saying you don't know what this man was going through. He could have been meditating. You trying to say the man was asleep. Was he snoring?
I didn't say he was
Did you
asleep.
go over there
I'm
and
telling
take
you
pictures
what
of him?
the allegations were from what I picked up, that Brian Schottenheimer is going to talk with Micah Parsons about that situation, because from a public relations perspective, it doesn't look good that he's back on that table back there, even lying down. From one thing.
He was laying down?
He was
He was
straddled
laying down
across
on
the
the
table.
table sleeping?
I mean, come on.
Wait. I got to get this. Was he laying down on the table sleeping?
From what I see, he was straddled across the table. His full body wasn't on the table, but he was on the table. Let's just say. Does that make sense to you now?
I hope that's just what it is, just allegations, man. Because I surely hope somebody didn't take this over and beyond and lie on this guy like he's just not into it and he's sleeping like this land. No.
I don't think he was sleeping, personally. I think he was more likely, like you say, meditating, just relaxing, saying that, look, I don't care what happened on that field because, I'm in contract negotiation, and it doesn't seem like the owner is too interested in negotiating a deal that's favorable for me and him. It doesn't seem like that to Michael Parsons. That's the case,
I just want them to wrap this thing up and get ready to play some football. I want the Cowboys to be at full strength when they start getting beat this year. I don't want to hear no excuses.
Well, they gonna get
really
beat.
Don't want to hear any excuses.
They just hadn't lined up against the other teams yet, but they gonna get beat. And you know what? I tell you what, I'm gonna make both of you guys a deal. Whenever they get beat, especially on a Monday night, I'm gonna show it with my cowboy hat on. How about that? Is that all right?
Well, we may also do.
I'm gonna have my cowboy hat and gonna be ready to talk about that game the very next day, like we did Isaah a year ago when we was discussing the Cowboys.
All right.
Listen, Jerry is a shrewd negotiator. He's not gonna just give in to the first few rounds of a contract negotiation. He's just not gonna do it. He's going to probably take it 8, 9, could be 10. It could even be 12. But I can promise you before kickoff, the day before kickoff, something is going to happen. Either he's going to get the bag he wants. I'm talking about Micah Parsons. Or Jerry's going to have to release him and let him go. And just go on and just let him go. Now, I don't know whether he could put the franchise tag on him. Maybe he can. I don't know the stipulations on that, but if he franchise tag him, he have to play an additional year for whatever the franchise tag offer is per the contract with the
just
NFL.
Like doing that the same way,
and they did that, and he did, and I think that might be what Jerry is kind of keeping in his back pocket. That look, I can franchise tag you if that's the case. And if I franchise tag you, you're still going to have to show up.
Jerry better get out of the 60s and the 50s mentality, man. Because I listened to an interview with him a while back, and he started talking about his negotiation with Emmett, And in those days of him pushing people to the corner, negotiating these little peanuts, and you talking about a guy who worthy of that contract, I'm telling you right now, it don't sit with players, DC. When you take a guy through the ropes for a contract, and then finally you break down and give him the money, he gonna be pissed with you, man. And see the difference
He's still
between
salty
Emmett
about it.
and Playmaker and Dion and all of those guys, they were so close. They rekindled a relationship. You understand?
Oh,
Because
I
first of
do.
all, you got all of these guys are Florida boys, Dion, Emmett, and Playmaker. All those guys were really good friends, and you know how Jerry clinging to Playmaker, so they built this chemistry and this respect and admiration for each other. With this Parson deal, if he don't have nobody to go in there and hug and embrace and forget about the past, this gonna spill over to next year where this guy is so pissed off because of how you treated me in these negotiations. I don't give a damn about playing for you hard because now I got my money, I'm secured, and I don't care about this because first of all, what we all talk about, DC, how violent this sport is. I mean, it's fun, and I don't even regret every moment that I played from little league up into college. I love it to death, man. But you, the injuries you can sustain from this game,
Oh, it's deadly.
and,
Some of
and,
the
and it could be a
injuries are
lifetime.
debilitating. Yeah.
Right. And the thing that you can get injured for life, and now this guy playing with your money, dude, man, you got to
Well,
understand how people think, man.
okay, so
You
since
got
you
to
brought that
understand
up,
how people think. You could be crippled, your brain could be screwed up, and you can get these injuries where you never walk straight again.
right.
And you messing with my money? We'll
So
see
let
how
me
this
ask you
thing panned
this.
out.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Micah Parsons is asking for too much money? Or because if you look at the highest paid players at the defensive level, it looks like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, they lead the way. If from what I'm looking at here, it looks like Myles Garrett guaranteed at 123 million. Nick Bosa from San Francisco, 119 million. And for an offensive player, Jamar Chase is guaranteed 112 million. From what it looks like, Micah Parsons wants to be the highest paid defender in the league, if I'm not mistaken. At least he wants to be
It does his number. Does his
above
number?
TJ
What's his
Watt.
numbers?
What is
If
his
his
numbers
numbers,
for his play? Is what you're asking?
that's what. Listen, DC. If he's better than these other players that's getting that high substantial amount of money, either match them or come close. Either
Or even
match them
better.
or go beyond. You got to get somewhere in the neighborhood. You got to get really close to the neighborhood. You can't be messing around with this guy when he's looking at those numbers like that. And that's what he's probably doing.
Okay, so here's the thing. TJ Watt has played a little bit longer than Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is still fairly young. It looks like the numbers from here, as far as tackles goes, TJ Watt has 40, Micah Parsons has 30. TJ Watt has 21 assists versus Micah Parsons 13 assists. Now, here's where it gets interesting. TJ Watt has about 12 sacks, and it looks like Micah Parsons has 12 sacks. TJ Watt had a record-breaking contract from the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is fascinating to me because Pittsburgh usually don't pay their players like that either. But they were fearing that they were going to lose TJ Watt, possibly to Cleveland. And can you imagine him and Myles Garrett together on each end? Come on. So it doesn't look like his stats is far off from what he's asking for to me, if you ask me, what he's asking Jerry for.
Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's why the guy is upset, DC. Whenever you got a guy who's proving to you that this is where it is, this is what's going on, these guys got paid this amount of money, this is their body of work, and now here's my body of work, like right in tune with what they're doing, and you don't want to pay me,
Exactly. Exactly. Well, once again, I believe before kickoff, the first game of the season, something is going to go down where either there's going to be a contract resolution, they're going to reach a deal, or he might get franchise tagged if that's something that Jerry has in his as an ace in the hole, or he'll release Micah Parsons and let him go somewhere where another team would be willing to give him something that he's asking for or close to what he's asking for. We'll keep an eye on that. So let's wrap up this show. We couldn't have had a better show, kinfolk. I'm telling you, fam, we kicking it down and we doing big things, and we want you to participate with us on this show. I tell you what, we're going to be coming back later on this week, and we're going to be doing another show. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit and subscribe and like, and shoot us a comment. I mean, we're here for you. We're family. So that's the way I look at it. I'm going to go ahead and have my first kinfolk close us out, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in. And, you could have been doing anything around the world, man, enjoying your family and your friends and other things that makes you happy. But you tune in to us. Thanks for the support. But you guys enjoy your week, man. It's so much to do, and, keep your mind straight and don't worry about all the negativity. Just stay blessed. Enjoy your week.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. How about you, Najee?
Yeah, peace and blessings, love God, because He's definitely gonna love you. Yeah. So Kobe's birthday was this weekend also, so that's why I represent him the entire weekend.
Awesome.
Even when I
Awesome.
went to even when
Beautiful.
I went to the Big Three. Today is Aaliyah's death day when she had that fatal crash back in 2001. So it's been 24 years. Don't feel nothing like it. I remember that because I was just about to start my seventh grade year.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you this, these two particular celebrities moved me more than anything when it came to deaths, because Aaliyah was one of the first ones that I realized that like it don't matter what age you are. Like she only died at 22. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, bro, like, and at that time, I'm like, I'm processing. I'm like, bro, like, you really can die at any age. And then of
True.
course, Kobe and Allen Iverson is the reason why I even love basketball. So when he was snatched, I'm like, bro, like, what, like, bro, like, why, like, how, like, this don't even make sense. So, like, when it happened, Isaiah called me out of my sleep, and I didn't believe it.
I
Then
remember
the
him
next thing you know,
calling me as well. He called me. It was a
TMZ leaked
Sunday.
it like crazy.
It was a Sunday
TMZ
morning.
leaked like
I remember.
crazy. Yep, it was a Sunday morning.
And
Exactly, because he just came
Isaiah
from
knew
church.
about it before it even hit the news, which was fascinating to me because I went directly to
He heard
ESPN
it on
and
the
I went to
radio.
CNN, and there was nothing there. And then after he told me about it, all of the news started floating in. It started, coming in because the news outlets started getting the news. I mean, of what happened. So
Yeah,
that's very
exactly. So I was
unfortunate.
like, bro, like time is precious, life is precious. So just keep your loved ones to you.
Absolutely.
Nice and
Absolutely.
close.
You guys summed it up so eloquently. I don't have anything to say other than the fact that take care of those around you. Take care of yourself before you take care of those around you, though, and your mental health, your physical health. Make sure that you're happy, because that's what it's all about. Personal happiness is everything in this world. So stay tuned to another show. Thank you for joining the DC Stewart Show podcast with my kinfolk Isaiah and my kinfolk Najee. We'll do it again soon. Stay strong. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take it easy.